Play ball! Blue 22!
You are watching Sports and Sorts live on YouTube. That's 75% sports, 25% sorts. And here are your hosts, Shane and the Bri Man.
All right, we are back. It is Monday morning, after the Masters, after Wrestlemania, after whatever the Yankees are doing, after, all sorts of fun things that have happened this past weekend. Did you do anything fun this weekend? Is there things that are still fun?
My whole weekend was, no, not really, but I built my whole weekend around WrestleMania. And,
and then you, right before the show, and for all that you don't know, when we start the show, we start off with 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. But on 1, Brian usually just, gives the 1 as the middle finger, the most powerful finger. And today,
I shot my load a little early.
He did, but
I was like on 2.
But you didn't. You were so ramped up and fired up about Mr. McMahon that you gave that early, and that was very interesting. So,
yep,
you got that hella glare off your glasses. I love it. It's like
I
can see
care.
your lamp. I can see your lamp. I can see your computer.
I love lamp. I love lamp. I don't know what to tell you. I'm gonna do it. I'm getting used to this look. I kind of like it, even though these are not prescription glasses. They're just blue light glasses, but I like the look.
Excellent. All right, so let's just to dive in because we're going to be talking Masters today. We're going to give a quick recap and our thoughts on that. Our latency's still low. I wonder if I can change. I'm going to probably have to get out of 1080p. I think that's the only way to do this, is as far as the recording latency, because it definitely is like laggy on my end. I don't know how it is on YouTube. But Masters weekend, we're going to talk a little MLB, get into the state of the Yankees. We got Mount Rushmore, best movie baseball characters of all time. Best characters in baseball movies of all time. And then we are also going to, Bri Man's going to recap the Wrestlemania, give you what the best matches, if there were any, of the night, and he will give you the worst match of the night and his overall rating. And who knows? Maybe the worst matches will be more than the.
Here's what I'm going to tell you: the overall grade for the event is going to be good, but the last match, the main event of night 2. Is going to get my law-abiding citizen review. So if you understand, if you know that movie and you understand that movie, you will already understand what I'm talking about. If you're a real true fan of WWE and proper storytelling, you will understand why I'm going to give why that's going to get the law-abiding citizen grade. So that's just a little teaser for the end there.
Okay. All right. So we're going to get on all that. So let's start off with golf right out the gate. We don't have any clips for golf yet. PGA, just get in the hole. You got that at the end of our intro. So there we go. We'll do that. So let's get into the Masters. I want to dive into the Masters a little bit. We had a historic event happen this weekend. Historic. First Japanese man to win the Masters. You had people like Kevin Na who were like kind of rushing back from the airport to be able to see his fellow Asian win the Masters, and he wanted to be on the 18th green when that happened.
Yep.
It was a moving event for that reason.
Yeah.
But I will say, even though it was a huge historic event, it was still boring AF. The event, the whole weekend, you didn't really have a lot of contention. You had basically Matsuyama just start bull charging on Friday and really just plowed in through on Saturday. And then Sunday, he faltered a little bit, but nobody put any pressure on him. You had people like Jordan Spieth, who I was really hopeful because I knew how well he played the back nine, but I was hoping he was just going to shoot even par to maybe like 1 or 2 under on the front nine, which he struggled with. He really struggled on the front nine all week long.
Yeah.
And that was what really provided his inconsistency for the week, because very, very bad. I mean, I guess he was consistently bad on the front nine and consistently good on the back nine. And that is what really hurt him. And he had opportunities going into the back nine that he just wasn't able to capitalize on, like par fives. He was getting birdies instead of having real legitimate eagle opportunities. And then even with, and then you have another guy who actually played with Matsuyama, which was Xander Schauffele. He actually played an even more inconsistent round because he was like on point, except for when he was not.
Right.
And he really like crapped the bed. Like
it's a little Phil-esque.
It was like, I mean, he went like from like, masterful shots, birdie, 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 like par, birdie. Double.
Yeah.
He just like completely like, oh man, he's making a charge. Yeah. No, he's not.
Yeah. Well, I was, because I was texting you as that was happening, like on 15 holes, 15 and 16 respectively yesterday, because Matsuyama he opened the door for him.
Mm-hmm.
He put that ball in the drink.
Yeah.
And then next thing you know, Schauffele's within 2. And then Schauffele gave it right back on 16. He puts one in the drink, and what did he triple bogeyed, right? That par 3, and that was it. Yeah, that was ball game. I mean, I know that dude. I know that Happy Gilmore caddy was in the clubhouse there with with not at 9 under, kind of hoping maybe that Matsuyama was going to fall back to him with 2 holes left, but that wasn't going to happen. Matsuyama is fundamentally sound. He's just a really solid golfer who played not a spectacular Masters, but a really good Masters, and he won.
Well,
he
played consistent. A spectacular first 3 rounds. Really,
first
Friday,
2.
Saturday were really good.
And he kind of put it away on Saturday.
Yeah,
I mean, he just kind of did. And Jordan didn't play a bad Masters, but like you said, he had his moments. Mm-hmm. I know that for both of us, our favorite guy, Phil Mickelson, actually finished at even, which was, not a horrible weekend for him, to be honest.
He did not, but he was not very consistent. Like he was like bad or good, and like then he kind of was like okay, like
good Phil, bad Phil, but
you know what that showed me is that if he was playing well, he could really legitimately contend again. In the Masters, probably for the next maybe 2 to 4 years.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
He could have like a legitimate shot to like if he's firing on all cylinders, if he's got it all in the bag and ready to go, he could still win, which is good.
I just wonder if Phil could ever Andy Pettit and reinvent himself a little bit so that he took a few less risks. And I know that's not his game because that's not how he's won. And he's won 5 majors, and far be it from us. And he's won 3 Masters, so far be it from us to tell him how to approach the Masters because that's the tournament he's had the most success at. But if he could just level back a little bit, really, in other words, lay up is what I'm telling you. Mm-hmm. If he could lay up a little bit, could he be the guy that could fundamental his way to another green jacket? I don't know. Probably not, but because then I just don't know. That takes away an element from him that probably would help put him over the top. But to your point last week, Phil needs that element of his game to be working in order for him to win now, probably. So even if he did play, let's just say he played took a more conservative approach. Well, his best case scenario might be like 6 under, but that's probably not going to win you the Masters.
No,
it's just not. He's still a great putter though. And that's, I don't know. I don't know. I don't want to say it's over.
Phil, he's a streaky putter. He has missed a lot of. He's had a lot of lip-outs in his career.
He has. Yeah, you're right. He is probably more streaky. But when he's on, he's on.
He's got the best. He's always in the top 10 for short game. Like he is always there. Like he knows how to work his wedges around the green. Yeah. Anywhere from the wedges inside of 100 yards, he can like do anything he wants.
Yes,
he can
pretty
spin
much.
it. He can turn it right. He can turn it left. He can have it like
He
can have it
gets
roll
himself
out.
in the most trouble off the tee.
Right.
I mean, it's just
Because he likes to hit those bombs.
Oh, he does.
Dropping
And
bombs, baby.
that comes with consequences.
Yeah.
Yeah, not a listen. At least the last hour gave you like a little bit of drama yesterday, but that's really about it. Yeah. Otherwise, I'm with you. Listen, I'm very happy for Matsuyama. I'm sure Japan rejoiced yesterday. I don't know what time in the day it was in Japan yesterday when he won.
I will tell you though, with Matsuyama, you could really see the pressure mounting on those last several holes. Like,
oh yeah, sure.
You could tell, things were getting, because he did not play the same.
And I'm sure he was very happy that Schauffele gave him back on 16. That drink shot.
If there was ever a gift in golf, that was it.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
He because then he took away any I wasn't looking for any one of those guys to win or lose. I guess I kind of couldn't have cared less, but I didn't want like Matsuyama to collapse. I have no skin in the game there with Schauffele and and I'm glad that the Masters got at least a historic outcome. If not if it wasn't the most enticing major championship you've ever seen.
No.
But it was in a way, I wouldn't call it dominant. Like this wasn't Tiger dominance, but let's be honest, Matsuyama was in control most of the weekend. So from that perspective, there was sort of a little bit of dominance.
Yeah, I mean, like you really thought with Justin Rose, like the way that he started, like, oh, maybe he could put it together. Maybe he could get it going. But again, so what I had said previously was that I really felt like you needed some big names to really step up. Like, I feel like you needed, like, I don't think Jon Rahm is a big name yet. I think he's a really good golfer, and he's always going to be in contention for the next several years in a lot of these majors. Great player. But he's just not very well known. I think you have him. I think you have, Spieth, now that he seemed to got his act together. I mean, he was a little inconsistent with his ball striking. I think he would probably tell you the same thing. Putting was pretty good. Chipping was pretty good. So overall, his game is really coming together. And that is awesome for the sport, because for a guy who has, what does he have, 3 or 4 majors at this point? I think 3. He might have 4. He is a guy, 12 wins under his belt. He's still in his mid-20s. Like, the dude is, if there was ever a guy that can get into that 10 major, like, this is like something that happened with Rory. Rory was like on fire for a long period of time, has 4, I think, under his belt, but then hasn't won again since for like 5 to 10 years. I mean, it's been a while since he's won. Was it 2014 or something like that was the last time? It's been a long time.
That's a long time.
And you have other good players like Justin Thomas, but as good of a player as he is, I just don't see him being like the guy who's going to put together a long streak. Like, I think he'll probably have somewhere along the lines of like the 4 or 5 majors by the time he's done. But he's not going to do like Phil Mickelson had. As soon as he broke through, he just started railing off of, one after another. Like, he kind of had a bunch of in a row, not in a row, but he definitely won a lot. Tiger, obviously one of the greatest of all time. Obviously, he's got the Tiger Slam, so obviously he's really good. But like, I don't really see anybody that's that good. But if you're going to have somebody who's going to have the ability to kind of get to that double-digit major, you have to be in your mid-20s still. You have to have a few or 4 under your belt already. Yep. And Spieth is kind of the guy that could really do that as long as he can stay consistent, because he had a 2.5 year just complete drop off and complete he just lost it. But you have some guys like Zalatoris who, with Tony Romo's prediction of everybody's going to know your name after this, so you better get used to it. Like, before the match even started, like, you're a really good golfer. Everybody's going to know who you are after the Masters, so be ready for it.
Yep.
Like, and that was kind of a prediction, like he might win it. And you know what? He almost did. He was very, very close. He finished in second. What is it? One behind?
Two back.
Was it two?
He was 9 under.
I thought Matsuyama finished at 10. No, he finished at 9.
No, he finished at 11 under.
He finished at 11 under.
Yeah.
All right. So Zalatoris, very, very good. Great player. Very young. I think he's 24.
Yeah.
Be interesting to see what he is. Looks like a.
Well, he looks like the caddy from Happy Gilmore. That's why Sandler was like tweeting him, I think.
I think he looks exactly like if Owen Wilson had to like drop all the weight in the world for a role, they're like identical.
Oof. He is really skinny, that dude. Yeah.
Yeah. Like if like Owen Wilson had to play like a drug addict, like Matthew McConaughey or something like that, or like like with when he did the role with HIV.
I was thinking the same thing, but not Owen Wilson, more like Logan Paul. Like if Logan Paul just had just had everything sucked out of him, it was Zolataris.
I could see that a little bit too, but I definitely take a look at it again and just see. Maybe I'll pull up a side by side at some point.
Logan Paul was at WrestleMania this weekend too, and thankfully he ate a stunner from Kevin Owens, which was nice. So
very nice.
He didn't sell it well. He didn't eat it well though. It actually looked terrible.
Oh really?
Yeah, it wasn't good. You could tell I don't know if they practiced. They didn't practice very well.
Didn't execute on the practice?
No, there's a certain way you're supposed to eat a stunner, and he just looks like his body collapsed. It just was terrible. It was not good. It was not good. It wasn't what you wanted.
He was trying something new.
Yeah, he was trying to get himself. He was trying to get himself killed.
All right. All right. So yes, we had a kind of an uneventful, huge event. Masters this week. I think that it's a historic moment, but it wasn't all that exciting. I thought we almost got some excitement, but the players that were in contention couldn't really step up, unfortunately. And that's kind of where you miss like Tiger, because you would want to see someone like Tiger be close and the guy in front of him collapsing. We've seen that happen before.
Yep.
So like that would be exciting to watch, because then you're like, somebody's feeling the nerves.
Yeah. Right.
And Matsuyama felt the nerves, but nobody could kind of reach up, pull him into the water, and then as the what was his name, Kroc, is that what his name is, who from McDonald's, who step on your head?
What, Ray Kroc?
Ray Kroc, step on your head. A lot of people will, try and reach and, grab you and pull you out of the water. I get to stick a hose in your mouth and step on your head. That's a quality human right there.
That's good, man.
Anyway, all right, let's, so that's pretty much it. I mean, if you have anything to say about the Masters this weekend, did you like it? Did you have a good time watching it? Let us know in the comments, and we would love to see what you had to say, because I feel like it was a little boring, a little uneventful, even though it was a historic moment. It was still a little just kind of on the, somebody fight.
Yeah.
Just because I think that would have made it so much better, especially if Matsuyama won it after all of that. Because then you're kind of like, because then there would have been like the emotional release and collapse at the end. Like, and I think that would have been kind of a fun thing to watch, and also just would have led to so much more.
Yeah.
Let's get into MLB. Let's get into some Major League Baseball. That's my bat sound.
Nice.
Yeah. It's good, right?
Yeah.
High quality. All right. We're very close. We're going to have MLB, NFL, and we're going to have something else. What else did I do? There was something else. State of the Yankees, maybe? We're going to have all of that stuff coming up soon. I got pretty much everything ready to rock, but it's not quite done. So we're going to have all those clips coming up very, very soon. But MLB, we are gonna touch on a couple of different teams, because I did want to like throw a little bit of information out there that we had talked about earlier in the year, and the way that things are shaking out as of right now. So we're gonna get into
Of the Yankees.
that didn't work right. How about now?
The state
There we go.
of the Yankees.
Yeah,
But
sure.
this is all we have is the audio clip right now. But we're going to talk about. I wanted to like just take us back to the beginning of the year when we were talking about how this year was going to shake out. Granted, it's very early in the season, early in the season. But we were like, oh yeah, the Yankees, the Rays, and the Jays are all going to be at the top. The two teams that are going to suck this year are going to be the Orioles and the Red Sox. They're going to be really bad this year. But then you go ahead and you look at the actual standings, and the Red Sox are in first place at 6-3. The Orioles at 4-5 are in second place, but that's the rest of the division. The rest of the division's all 4-5. So, but it's very interesting how all that shook out so far.
Yeah,
I mean, it's not even 10 games into the year, but still.
Yeah. Listen, let me tell you. I was ready to rip the Yankees a new one this morning had they lost yesterday, because they would have been 3-6, bottom dwelling, looking up at the 6-3 Red Sox, 3 games behind them, with an offense that just is listless, lifeless, helpless, hopeless, hapless, gutless, heartless, turdless. I mean, just
Turdless? They need some Miralax or something?
Yeah, I don't know. It was very frustrating yesterday to watch that team. It just looked like, again, they were, they get Honeywell out of the game after he basically played the role of opener. And then they bring in Waka. And the Yankees immediately jump on Waka. But of course, Aaron Hicks has to kill everything. I mean, Aaron Hicks is one of those guys that if he walked by like a fresh bed of flowers, the flowers would all wilt and die like as he walked by. Like, that's just how lifeless that guy is. And how much he sucks the life out of everything. He is like, if there was a rally killer definition in Webster's, I swear to God, Aaron Hicks's fucking mug would be right next to that right next to the word. I just, there's only so much I can take of Aaron Hicks. You can seriously, like, if he comes up in a moment where the bases are loaded and nobody's out, just depending on whether if he's batting righty, you can say in your head, okay, this is going to be a 6-4-3. If he's batting lefty, it's going to be a 4-6-3. You could just say in your head, you could just say it, and it fucking almost happens all the time. I swear to God, I'm not a gambler, but Aaron Hicks is the kind of guy who makes me want to gamble because his outcomes are so predictable. Like, if I could instantly gamble, like on DraftKings or something, and just be like, okay, here's Aaron Hicks in this moment, I'm immediately what he's batting lefty, 4-6-3 double play. I would seriously, I'd consider betting like $50 on it just to see what would happen, because you could he is so predictable. And this Yankees offense is very predictable right now, which is to say there's very little clutch in it. I mean, the one clutch hit they get yesterday was from the fucking guy they pick up off a scrap heap, who now looks like he doesn't even look like Rougned Odor. And as you know, I have a very soft place in my heart for Rougned Odor, because he's the guy who jaw-jacked Jose Bautista, who, as you also know, is one of my least favorite human beings on the planet. Behind like David Ortiz and Tom Brady, it's Jose Bautista.
Although he did like a couple of your tweets or something like that from a time.
Yeah, he did, which was really annoying. But anyways, yeah, that's him trolling me. But bottom line, this Yankees team. Look, this Yankees team is they're the textbook definition of insanity, right? And what do we always say insanity is? It's doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. Well, the Yankees in this offseason, while they made tweaks to the starting rotation, well, I wouldn't call it tweaks, actually. They pretty much overhauled the starting rotation behind Cole. They made tweaks to the bullpen. But the one thing they really didn't do was touch that lineup. And as you can see, that lineup is pretty much picking up where it left off last year, which is to say they're exactly who we thought they were. They are who we thought they were. They're the same guys that they were last year. If you were expecting something different, I don't know what you've been watching then from the Yankees for the last couple of years, because this lineup that they're essentially trotting out there is kind of the same. Here's the other thing I don't like. So Clint Frazier hasn't played well the last few games, and Boone just takes him right out. Doesn't let him work through it like an actual Major League Baseball player should be allowed to work through something. And he puts Gardner out there. No, listen, Gardy had a good enough game, except for that ridiculous play in the top of the ninth, where he thought the ball got past Zunino, and he ends up getting in a rundown and caught on his way to home plate. And then, of course, Aaron Judge shockingly grounds out to shortstop because he doesn't have a clutch hit in his bones fucking either. So I'm telling you, man, this team, yes, they won yesterday. They salvaged. Let's just say that's all they did yesterday. They got one, which they desperately needed, because there's a big difference between 3-6 and 4-5, especially when you're 4-5 and then you got Cole on the mound tonight to hopefully get you back to 500. But if you're expecting this Yankee team, as currently constituted, to do anything special this year, I'm not so sure it's there. And I said a couple weeks ago when we kind of did our MLB pre-show, I thought this Yankee team was going to be an all or nothing team. I thought they were either going to win it all or they were going to miss the playoffs. And right now, what I'm looking at is a team that doesn't really belong in the playoffs. Now, they'll make it because the AL kind of sucks. You look around the American League, it's really not that great. It's not that great. It's not. It's really not. The American League it's not a good league. It's weak. The National League is loaded. I mean, there's probably 6-7 teams that could really vie and be legitimate. Let's put it this way. In the National League, I think there will be a good team or two that doesn't make the playoffs. In the American League, probably not. Whoever makes it, those are probably the teams that'll pretty much deserve to be there. And then below that, I doubt that there would be anything very special. But I just don't think the American League is a very strong league. And so I think the Yankees should make it. If they don't, it's an even bigger disaster. But I will tell you right now, and I don't know what Boston's long-term outlook is. I'm sure Red Sox fan, I'm sure even Damian would tell you, don't be sucked in by this. They started 0-3, but then they won 6 straight. But I don't really know what to make of the Red Sox. It's 9 games. But I will tell you right now, my concern about the Yankees is that they didn't make a big lineup. They didn't do anything to inject anything into this lineup in the offseason. Like, I really wanted them to get a guy like Michael Brantley, a guy who was not just a good hitter, but a good situational hitter, a guy with a little bit of clutch in him.
Single double guy?
And just
gets hurt
I don't know.
Though.
I don't know how we can expect a different result from this Yankees offense than we got last year. That's all.
As of right now, yeah, I think you're probably right. This team looks like it's going to maybe have a hard time in clutch spots. So they're either going to have to put up a lot of runs, or they're just not going to really do it, because they have the starting staff to get them in those moments to where they should be able to win close games. Unfortunately, they have a lot of people who strike out. Between Judge, between Hicks, who right now is striking out a lot, more than he normally does. Judge, Hicks, Sanchez, you can even go to Urshela is a good player. Had a great game yesterday. Really the star of the day offensively. What do you have? Was he 4 for 5 yesterday? Something like that? Urshela?
Yeah. And he was a triple short of the cycle.
Yeah.
And I think he might have gotten that call had he been in Yankee Stadium.
Maybe.
I mean, it was an error on the.
It was
maybe not. It was an error.
It was an error, but it also was something that I don't think that any right fielder could have predicted. The way the ball kind of spun. You have had to have a lot of time in Tampa to be able to play that hop.
Yeah.
So I don't know if it's an error, it's kind of a mental error, but it's also a physical error.
I'm telling you, in Yankee Stadium, they score that a triple.
But that wouldn't have happened in Yankee Stadium.
No, I know you're right. It wouldn't have because it's
the
real
turf.
grass.
Yeah. So like it's the way that it's spun was the
Yes.
real reason why that
Yeah.
he wasn't able to come up with it. But
I know.
so that's kind of not. It's
He
not
got
really,
He got hosed out of a cycle.
He did, but he didn't. Like I get you could really go either way, and you could argue either way. So I don't know, one of those things. But anyway,
but a good game though for Gio. And actually, myself and the Yankees text group, we were actually kind of saying who was the guy we thought was going to like disappoint us this year, and a couple of us, myself and Lance, both said Gio. And I thought Gio actually would be the guy to disappoint this year and kind of come back to earth. You know what? Maybe he won't. Maybe Gio Urshela is just a really good ball player, and Cashman just found a diamond in the rough there. Maybe he did. Maybe that's what it comes down to. I mean, the guy is just a great fielder, and that's why Cashman got him. He got him to be a good fielder. His bat has just been a real unexpected bonus. And now it's 2+ years of this from Gio. Maybe this just really is who he is.
Yeah, he's a good player.
And if it is,
solid,
great.
yeah.
Unbelievable. Just an unbelievable pickup.
Very solid player.
Really is. And he's a guy I actually would trust in a big moment.
Yeah. I would. DJ,
because he can put the ball in play. He's not a strikeout guy.
DJ, people that could come up in big moments for me, I think are like DJ could do it. I think you're right with Urshela. He could probably come through.
DJ has struggled early in the clutch this year, but I expect that to work itself out.
When you're a good hitter, and he's just. Yeah, I'm okay.
Again, you're a contact hitter, so he's going to put the ball in play, and DJ will put the ball in play. You have some
guys, you have some guys that I think are high potential coming through in the clutch, and that is DJ. I think Urshela is probably one of those guys, and you might even be able to put Glaber in there, but just because
when he can hit,
right, he's struggling right now. He's on the struggle bus, and then there's other guys that I think are like low level that you know what. To be honest, I might even say that Clint Frazier is a guy that you could probably put in and high potential would come through in the clutch just because he seems to have like step up to big moments. Like he seems like he wants those moments. And
he wants the moment. Right. Whether he's up to it or not, that remains to be seen. But his desire for it, yes.
Yeah. And then, you have people that are low level, which I think Gary Sanchez is a low level kind of clutch guy, but he will come through from time to time. Another guy that's low level
so far Judge, I hate to say it, but Judge is a low level clutch guy.
I don't even think he's low level because I don't think he's clutch at all yet.
So he's like on the lowest of levels.
So yeah, I think that he's not clutch. I think I think high level, low level. I think low level is you're going to come through the clutch occasionally.
Stanton's low level.
Yeah, because he'll.
I mean, I don't care what anybody tells you about. You know what though? Everyone's going to say, well, he hit those 6 home runs last year in the playoffs. Take a look at most of those home runs. They did not come in big spots. No. And they were mostly solo home runs.
They're when the weight's off your shoulders.
I think there was.
It's like coming up after the big hit.
I think one of those 6 home runs was mildly important. I'm pretty sure. Only one. The other 5, okay. They were there, but one of them was kind of like a put away blow. Because he did hit a grand slam in one of them, and it put the game out of reach.
Right.
Because I think at one point they were up 2, and then they were up 6. So, okay, fine. If you want to... That might have actually even been the one I was thinking of that was kind of clutch, I guess. Because it just put the game away. But...
Another guy who I think is relatively clutch, and he might be in the middle ground, that's like Gardy.
Gardy, yeah. Sure. Yeah. Well, Gardy gives you the experience, though.
Yeah, he's old. He'll work a walk. He'll try and slap something. He'll hustle. Like yesterday beat out that that single. He still fights. He
does. No, he's got heart. Yeah. He's got grit. And there's he's the gritty gutty Gardy. I mean, he is, but there's not enough of that.
What do you think about Luke Voit? When he comes back, you think he's got a little bit of clutch in him?
He's just another.
He strikes out a lot.
Just another strikeout guy.
Yeah, but he's got a little clutch in him.
I actually took some heat from Yankee fans over the. Might have been over the. I don't remember what it was. It was before leading up to the season on Twitter, where they had put out a list of top 10 first basemen, and Voit was number 3, and I was like, this is bullshit. I'm like, I'm sorry, but Luke Voit is not the third best first baseman in baseball. There were other guys on the list that belonged way ahead of him. And I was like, yes, and my fellow Yankee fans are going to hate me, but I don't even know if it, yeah. I'm like, my fellow Yankee fans are going to hate me, but I don't even, I forgot who put it out, but it was like, it was somebody like, it was either like an ESPN or something like, it was pretty big. I mean, it came from a big verified account. It wasn't like The Score or some crap like that. It was
American League.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. AL. Yeah. Wait a minute. Was it? No, it might have been MLB. No, I think it was MLB. It wasn't just American League. It was all of MLB. And I was and then Yankee fans, my own fellow Yankee fans, my own flesh and blood, they came right after me. And they were like, "You're not a Yankee fan." You know how Yankee fans are. So I was like, "Okay, guys." I'm like, "Can we be realistic about this?" Like, but they were trying to be like, but the thing said it was about last year, not about overall. And I'm like, okay, that's fair. I suppose if you want to, if we're looking at 2020 in a vacuum, okay, fine. I'm like, but even still, like, this guy just does not belong on that kind of list. Like Luke Voit is just nothing special to me. Like, he's a scrap heap pickup that has, don't get me wrong, it's worked out. He's got good power. But like, I look at Gio as like a scrap heap pickup that's really worked out. Great defense. The guy can hit. He is clutch. Voit to me is just he's just a big country boy, and he's going to run into 30 home runs because he's just got that kind of build. He's obviously nothing special at first base. Luke Voigt's legacy as a Yankee would be determined in the postseason. He would have to have it. He'd have to be a guy who could maybe put them on his shoulders for a couple of games, win a couple of games here and there with some big hits. I don't dislike Luke Voit, but I don't want him in any kind of conversation talking about top first baseman in the league.
Yeah.
Sorry. I can't go there with him. I can't. I'm sorry. I just can't.
Yeah. I mean, he had a good year last year.
Yeah, he did. And I know he was probably even somewhat in the MVP ranking somewhere. He was probably top 20, right?
He raked. Yeah. Last year he raked, but like,
he did. I'm not taking that from him. I'm just saying I can't put him in a conversation of top first baseman in Major League Baseball.
Because it kind of depends.
He was listed above Alonso, and I'm like, give me a break. I'm like, I take Pete Alonso in a heartbeat over him. In a heartbeat.
I mean, Abreu.
Yeah, he's Alonso, not on I'm sorry, he's not on Abreu's level.
Freeman.
Yeah, no. Every one of those guys I'm taking above Luke Voit.
Who would you take? Who would you take? Anthony Rizzo or
Rizzo?
Right.
Yeah. Keep going.
Let's see. Who else do we have down there? There's a lot of guys who like.
I'll take him over Jay Bruce.
You'd probably take him over Eric Hosmer.
Yeah, I would take him over Eric. Yeah,
if you
would ask me that question a few years ago, no.
I wouldn't because of
Hosmer's
so
good defensively.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a tough call. Actually, you know what? I don't know. What did Hosmer hit last year?
Let's see.
How old is Hosmer?
Hosmer's in his early 30s.
Yeah. That's tough. I mean, the age is the only deterrent for me with Hosmer because defensively it's not even close.
He's 31 right now.
Okay.
But last year in the regular season,
he can hit though. Hosmer can hit, and also he's a world champion.
He batted. Is that 333? No, that's on base percentage. So he batted 287. OPS was 851.
Never mind. I'll take Hosmer. I'd take Hosmer then. Okay, so again, we've gone.
But now you're talking Voigt's 22 bombs to Hosmer's 9, which would go up because he's playing in San Diego.
Yes.
So you're talking 9 is probably now 14.
Probably. I forget it. I'd take Hosmer.
Yeah.
His defense he's one of the best defensive first basemen out there. Yeah. So, we get the point, right? Like Luke Voit is just not. I'm sorry, he's not a. He's a top. If you want to call Luke Voit a top 10 first baseman and put him at 10, I think I could accept that. All right, how about that?
Yeah, because there's players out there that are still like that play first base from time to time too, and if they were a Yankee,
DJ LeMahieu plays first base a ton.
Right. Cody Bellinger. Doesn't play a ton, but he plays first base.
Yeah, no, but we all.
But would he play first base in a Yankee uniform?
Well, probably, yeah. Yes, he probably would. Well, I would love that.
I'm just saying, like, there's so many people that are different, that are, a better. But I do like Luke Voigt. I think he'd be a great DH.
Yeah, he's fine.
22 bombs in like 4 games last year.
I don't know how much you want me to say about Luke Voigt. That's about it.
He had 22 bombs.
I'm just never going to get excited over Luke
Voigt.
In
4.5 games last year. And we're like, yeah, he's fine.
He needs to do something exciting in the postseason.
In a full season, we had like 68 bombs.
Well, listen, I gave you some excitement about Gio. I love Gio. Yeah. See, like, there's just so many different factors. See, the defense is such a big part of it too.
Yeah.
I mean, Gio could literally throw guys out from his ass. Which he did either yesterday or the day before, and he makes these diving, sprawling plays, and he throws guys out with accuracy from his rear. I mean,
you know what, baby?
Anyways,
right, let's get into. We're done with baseball. We've nailed. We've really hammered that home. Let's get into. The Mount Rushmore of
baseball movie characters.
Characters in baseball movies. This was actually a lot tougher for me than I thought it was going to be.
This was fun.
This was really tough for me because there's so many characters that I'm like, I really love that character, but like, do I like it more than this?
I only had my Washington settled on. I had to really pour through movies to figure out my other 3. I'm
really in the same camp as Damien, as we were talking last week, is that you ask me this next week, it could be a totally different list.
It could, yeah. Right. Yep.
All it takes is me watching a movie again. Like, I haven't seen a lot of these movies in a while. So like, I'm just going off my memory, like, oh, how did I feel? Like, so that's kind of a good thing because you're kind of like, these characters stuck out, right? They stuck out. They transcend time. So yeah, they probably should be on the list, but like, if this is a personal list, so like, is it something that would 100% change if I was like, I don't know, watching these movies all the time? Like if I spent all last week watching baseball movies, would my list be different? 100%, absolutely. But then again, who's got that kind of time right now?
Yeah.
So, especially with the Masters on this week. But anyway, so we'll get into our list of the best characters in baseball movies. I actually replaced that last one.
Yeah.
So on the Wheel of Destiny, Mount Rushmore is no longer baseball characters in baseball movies. It's Mount Rushmore of the worst sports figures. The worst sports figures. The ones that you just hate.
Oh. So like my David Ortiz, Tom Brady, Jose Bautista.
Yeah, and then you have to come up with that fourth.
Oh, okay. Okay. That will be easy. That'd be easy.
So the worst sports figures in history.
Yeah.
The ones that you just hate.
Yeah.
So that's on the list as well. All right. But I would like to hear what other people think, because I'm sure there's going to be a lot of Yankees on that list. There's got to be a lot of A-Rods there.
A-Rod probably would be on it.
Yeah. So, all right. Let's get into our Abraham Lincoln, Mr. Bri Man. The Bri Man.
Is that where we're starting? Abraham Lincoln?
Yeah, that's what we always start with. Abraham Lincoln. It's rock and roll.
Well, okay.
Let's see what you got.
So, I had to make sure that this list had a Kevin Costner presence. I think it would have been a little bit weird to do a baseball movie list and not have Kevin Costner on there somewhere. Now, conventional wisdom probably says, well, is it going to be Iowa Farmer Ray from Field of Dreams, or is it going to be Crash Davis from Bull Durham? Those both make sense. But for me, I actually went with probably a baseball movie that would be a little bit lower on the list for a lot of people in the Kevin Costner sort of pantheon of movies. So for me, that guy is Billy Chappell from For Love of the Game.
I love that movie.
He's
He almost made my list.
Soon to be Hall of Fame, soon to be retired Hall of Fame pitcher for the Detroit Tigers. Doesn't have much left in the tank. And he's taking the mound at Yankee Stadium in, what is going to be, did it end up being his last start? Is basically his last,
I think so, yeah.
Last start of his career. Pitching, and he's in, before you know it, he's finding himself in the middle of pitching a perfect game. Yes.
You can hear me?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I didn't know why. I don't know why. I am.
Yes, perfectly clear.
Weird. That's weird. All right, go ahead.
But yeah, no, he's but it's an interestingly made movie too, because it's as he's going through each inning, he's having these flashbacks, like of his personal life too, things that have gone on in his personal life with his ex-wife, whatever. And he's kind of working through all of that in the midst of the game. And the catcher is John C. Reilly, right? And he actually did a really good job in that role, I thought. It is a good movie. I enjoyed it. And I used to love, I loved that phrase that he would say, like when he was in the moment, he would say, clear the mechanism, and he would just kind of reset himself. So yes. Right. He couldn't do it. Yeah, he couldn't do it. I mean, that part, don't get me wrong, that's a little corny, but that's the Hollywood part of it coming through. So, I mean, the whole thing was basically how. But look, as you know, as I've said in past weeks, I always root for the older guy. That's just always been my thing. Ever since I was a kid, I've always rooted for the old man to come through and not the young kid. I kind of have always hated young people. I don't know why. Very strange. But like most people want to root for the young guy to be the, let the old guy step aside. It's the old guy's time to step aside and be the mentor for the young kid. I root for the old guy. It's just who I am. And that will probably play itself out a little bit on this list too, as you'll see. But so he would be my Lincoln. Yeah. 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 Yep. Yep. Oh. Oh, really? Oh, okay. I can understand how that would have some very special meaning. So this one was fun for me because it actually is not a player. Now, like you, I also, by the way, I wanted to just say, Wild Thing is in my honorable mentions, because still one of my favorite, and I don't know why it made me laugh so much when I first saw it, but the scene when they're in the restaurant with Jake brings them to the restaurant and Jake sees his ex-wife there, and he's like, "Who's that guy? Like, who's that guy she's with?" And Charlie. I just laughed thinking about the damn line because of the way it was delivered. And he's just like, and Jake Taylor's looking down on his wife with this guy, and Charlie Sheen just stone face says, "Want me to drag him out of here? Kick the shit out of him." And
Oh, the Bri Man. Oh, they couldn't hear me. Oh, wow.
What's that?
People couldn't hear me. I was muted. So you could hear me, but
I heard you.
But the other people couldn't hear me. Oh.
Oh.
So anyway, they didn't hear me. I said Wild Thing Vaughn. I said Ricky Wild Thing Vaughn. I was talking about his whole, he's iconic. He transcends sports. Ricky the Wild Thing Vaughn.
Yeah.
Absolutely amazing. Sorry about that. Sorry about the audio. I clicked the mute button and Bri Man could hear me fine.
I heard
but then
you
I
fine.
clicked it over here because I had to go off my soundboard. So I apologize for that. But anyway, Ricky the Wild Thing Vaughn is definitely my Abraham Lincoln. Love that guy. Love to hear. Hear him. Like I just love to see him. The Wild Thing just going the transformation between the throwing gas, all that kind of stuff. Sorry about that. But anyway.
Yeah, I loved that scene though, that restaurant scene where he's like, "You want me to drag him out of here? Kick the shit out of him?" And Jake Taylor doesn't do anything. He doesn't look. He just keeps looking at his wife, and Charlie Sheen just goes. It was just great. It's so great. I mean, it's just a stupid little moment.
No,
it was
great.
It was really funny.
Yeah, it's awesome.
So my Jefferson, sticking with the Major League theme, and this is where I went a little off script, because I chose for this character not a player, an announcer by the name of Harry Doyle, played so masterfully by Bob Uecker. His presence in both of these movies is just tremendous. Bob Uecker is one of those guys, dude. Don't take him 2021. Don't you dare, because he's a fucking national treasure. Okay, and Bob Uecker is just—he was so great in that role. Let me just a few, if I may, just a few quotes from Bob Uecker as Harry Doyle. The probably the most famous one that we hear all the time, just a bit outside. How about this one? Just a reminder, fans, coming up is our Die Hard night here at the stadium. Free admission to anyone who was actually alive the last time the Indians won a pennant. Okay, then one hit. That's all we got. One goddamn hit. You can't say goddamn in the air. Oh, don't worry. Nobody's listening anyway. The post-game show is brought to you by Christ. I can't find it. To hell with it. In case you haven't noticed, and judging by the attendance, you haven't, the Indians have managed to win a few here and there and are threatening to climb out of the cellar. Bob, man, I'll tell you what. And actually, I'm just looking here. Yeah, there's just a bit outside. So the other thing I loved in Major League 2, when in Major League 2, let's see, the guy, there was a batter, gets up, just smokes the ball. And this is another one of those, this was like the Charlie Sheen thing, where the guy just nails the ball, and it's a home run. As soon as it comes off the bat, Euchre just goes, "Oh shit." It's like so simple, but like it was great. So he's my Jefferson.
I like it.
Harry Doyle.
I like it. All right, so my Jefferson is going to be. This is a movie that I just love, just because you got to get a glimpse into the life of what it might have been, and it wasn't a great movie. Well, I think most of society might not think it's a good movie. I enjoyed the movie. I saw it in the theater. I remember seeing it with one of my friends. We were both diehard Yankee fans, and we went and saw the movie, and we were both like, "Oh my God, that was so cool. We got to see it." I got to see it. It seems like, it's like looking at him in real life almost. And that was when John Goodman portrayed Babe Ruth in The Babe. I love John Goodman. You'll never find me really talk any smack about John Goodman. I think he's amazing. He's a national treasure in my mind. And love John Goodman. I actually enjoyed his portrayal. I think I liked the way you got to see both sides, the kind of angry and abusive side of him from time to time, the really over the top, celebrations that he would like to do as far as like after the game. He would drink a lot, smoke a lot, eat a lot. Wasn't the healthiest of characters, but man, he comes up the next day and he just mashes. Then obviously they show, as he goes on through his career, and just really wanted to get into baseball as far as being like a manager and stuff like that, and never really was given the opportunity. And it was sad But man, 714 bombs. He talk about a guy who really just was larger than life in sports, and still to this day is one of the most recognizable names. But John Goodman, as his portrayal in that movie, I just enjoyed. I enjoyed the whole movie. I thought it was a very fun watch, and even though it's not going to be 100% accurate because of movies, I just loved his performance. What do you think? What do you got? What do you got for your Teddy Rose?
Well, listen, every great team needs a manager, right? And if you're going to have a manager, my manager needs to be Jimmy Duggan.
Ah, okay.
From A League of Their Own.
Yeah.
Played brilliantly by perhaps the greatest actor who may ever live.
Two peas in a pod here. My Teddy Roosevelt is also Mr. Tom Hanks, Jimmy Duggan.
But really?
Yeah.
How about that?
Uh-huh.
I'll tell you what. I love Jimmy Duggan so much. He was he was a quote machine in a lot of ways. Listen, of course, there's
no crying in baseball.
There's no crying in baseball.
That's another thing. That's a line that transcends sports.
But this quote, which I have printed out, it sits on my desk, on my work desk every day. It's supposed to be hard.
Hold on, I'll put you on the full screen.
It says it's supposed to be hard. If it wasn't hard, everybody would do it. The hard is what makes it great. And this is one of my favorite quotes.
Take a picture of that and send it to me. I need to just.
You want that for your desk too?
No, I'm gonna throw it over to. I just want to show my son. Oh. Maybe I'll have him watch the movie. It's a good movie.
But I love the quote because it's a reminder. Listen. When I'm at work and my day sucks, it's fucking hard, and it is. I look over at that and I remind myself, this is what work is supposed to be. It's not fucking supposed to be easy. And I love that quote, but also the character too. Like the character of Jimmy Duggan is so great that God, you wish he was real. Like he wasn't fictional. Like you actually wanted him to be a real guy.
Yeah.
And he was, I mean, first of all, the character was funny. I mean, he comes in, obviously has no interest in doing this. He's drunk. I mean, he's just like, like that scene where like he's taking a piss and Madonna's just like watching him pee in the urinal. It's just like it's like an Austin Powers like pee getting out of like being like coming out of like cryogenics, but he's just so great. Like the way that he, originally just hated the team, but then he started to like them because Donnie Henson was, obviously this very special player, and actually this is who he says that quote to is her at the end, because she's like, it just got too hard. And that's where he, pulled that out. But, I also liked the dynamic there of kind of like the relationship he had with Dottie too. Coach with the best player, was basically the hardest on her too,
it's a mentor. He's being a mentor to like one of the greats. And how do you do that?
Right. And you don't do it by being easy on him or coddling them, and I loved the scene because he was such a gruff character though. But when it came, when her husband, played by Bill Pullman, comes home from war, and I think he was in an arm sling or whatever. He had gotten hurt. But you could see though how Tom Hanks very brilliantly sort of drew back. It really humbled him, and he's like, because the husband goes to introduce himself. He's like, I'm a big fan, and he's like, oh, I'm a big fan of yours. You could really see though, like how he cared. Like he wasn't just this kind of mean asshole. Like he saw a real life American hero in front of him, and he really sort of stepped back from that person. Yeah. But great character, just an unbelievable character, and just an awesome manager. Should have won the championship.
And the thing that was this one was hard for me, because I felt like I was like, what about is this whole movie is about all these, these women that stepped up during a hard time and performed and performed at a high level. Yeah. And, and it was like one of those things but I was like, I want to like put one of those women in, but like so many of them, like especially Kit, so annoying.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, she was so annoying like throughout the whole movie, and like she got a little redemption, kind of like
barreling
build up
through her
at the
sister
end.
to
Yeah. Like, and that was something that was kind of good and fun and whatever, but. The characters that I really enjoyed weren't even the two main characters, which were the sisters. I loved Madonna's character. I loved Rosie O'Donnell's character. Like those are the characters I really enjoyed.
Yeah.
As far like they were like just side characters, and I liked them more than I liked the actual stars in the movie. Yeah, and Gina Davis was great. She was phenomenal in the movie.
Yeah,
but she didn't. I don't know. She was overshadowed by Tom Hanks for sure. Tom Hanks was just. He was the star of that movie, and it's not because he had bigger name recognition. They were both pretty much on par with each other at that point in time.
Yeah.
And I just think that he just, he is one of the greatest actors of all time. It's tough to edge him out. So,
Yep.
All right. George Washington.
I mean, you already know.
Yeah.
You already know who mine is.
Yeah. The natural, right?
Roy Hobbs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's Roy Hobbs.
Yeah.
It's Roy Hobbs. It's not even close. I mean, that's why this list
bleeding.
Hitting
the bomb, lightning, stuff going off in the background.
I still don't get through that scene without crying. I don't. It's never happened. Not once. I'm gonna cry now just thinking about it. No, it's just it's what's weird about The Natural too is it's kind of a weird story. I still struggle with the real life aspect of the story where he got shot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like what was that woman's motives? Like that part I still don't get. But I understand what they needed to do in order to make the story what it was, which was for him to have something that would take him away from baseball for a long time. And then all of a sudden at this very advanced age, he gets back into it. But it's the perfectly named movie, The Natural, because he just was.
Mm-hmm.
He just was a naturally great hitter. And as oh God, what's his name there? Wilford Brimley, right? Played the coach.
Yep.
And he's like, and you're the best damn ball player I've ever seen. And he was like, what, supposed to be 36 at the time? I don't know how old Robert Redford actually. And Robert Redford played that role just amazing, spectacular, beautifully.
Right. Another very good actor.
But you want to talk about like just a great fictional baseball movie. The Natural has all the elements of drama with a little bit of kind of intrigue in there too, about, because he's trying to suppress this part of his life that's very dirty, very ugly,
Mm-hmm.
But I even love like right from the beginning of the movie when he's kind of portrayed as a young man, and and he they're on the train there or whatever, and like what's that guy's name there who's supposed to sort of be like Babe Ruth, but they called him the Whammer. And they have that whole thing where Redford strikes him out, like on 3 pitches. And Robert Duvall was the reporter there, and he's throughout the movie he's threatening to expose this past of Roy Hobbs. And so there was sort of a lot of intrigue there. Kim Basinger is also there, and she's, getting involved. And Glenn Close is obviously, the mother of his child, there's a lot of drama built into the movie. There's great backdrop to the movie. But for me, it's all about that, what you described, that end scene, that scene at the end, the blood coming through the shirt, the old man, who's just a guy whose baseball career was ripped from him by a bullet.
Mm-hmm.
And he's got this moment and he just tattoos a ball into into the lights, and you just get that amazing fight and the music, the brilliant use of slow motion, the looks on the other players' faces as he's rounding the bases after the guy hit a ball like 600 feet. I mean, it's just spectacular. It's just that is just a spectacular visual.
Mm-hmm.
The end of that movie. And that's why Roy Hobbs is my George Washington, and it's not even close.
For me, this is going to be this is completely just 100% personal. And
As was mine.
Yes, it is. But yours is like an all-time classic. Like that is in like top 10 baseball movies. You're going to get 9 out of 10 people saying that The Natural's in that list somewhere.
And that is the only, by the way, that is the only jersey of a fictional character that I've ever actually considered buying is a Knights Roy Hobbs jersey with the number 9 on the back.
That's a cool one.
It's the only one I've ever considered buying. Like had it in my cart, considered buying.
Mm-hmm. So my number one is very weird. And I've probably said this in other baseball topics that we've done with baseball movies. And that is going to be, Tom Selleck in Mr. Baseball.
Okay.
And that's the reason why, again, another old player that's kind of getting, taken out of the league and all that kind of stuff. Frank Thomas is in that movie, as the,
that's right. He was
as the upcoming stud.
But
the reason why, so one, I love the movie, and every time that I would get into a slump in baseball, I would watch that movie. And there's a couple of scenes in there that it would help me get out of it. And
Tom Selleck get you out of your slump?
He did. And it just one is one of those things and the reason why is when he started flipping him the golf balls.
Yeah.
So he could see the ball and it would look bigger.
Yeah.
And I would watch that movie. I would see that. I would do that. And I would get out of my slump.
Wow.
But I had to watch the movie. I couldn't.
Can't think of a better reason to have that as your top.
It would be every time. And I liked the movie too. So,
yeah.
And, it was one of those movies that I just enjoyed, and it would help me get out of my slump in baseball. And, thank you for flipping the golf balls, which leads me into my later passion in life, which is golf.
Golf. Yeah.
So
wow.
That's,
you owe a lot to Tom Selleck. You should write him a note or something.
Just, I don't know.
Right. Because right now, what's
just
Tom
maybe
Selleck doing?
I'll just get rid of my beard and just keep a stash.
I think all Tom Selleck is doing right now is hawking reverse mortgages on TV. So,
which
by
is
the
terrible.
way,
Don't do that.
It's terrible, but boy, does he make it compelling.
Because he's good.
He could sell ketchup to a man in white gloves. I forgot what's the. He could sell a ketchup popsicle to a man wearing white gloves.
Ice
that's the Tommy
to an
boy.
Eskimo.
Right.
It's one of those.
Yeah. You could get a good look at the butcher by sticking your head. No. So I
gotta go back to Tommy Boy always.
Let's
get some honorable mentions. Let's just give a couple real quick.
Well, again, Wild Thing probably would have been the next guy to make this list. Also on Major, there was a couple from Major League: Willie Mays Hayes, Pedro Serrano, all of those guys. Jake Taylor, even. My goodness, you could just run through the damn Major League gamut. Obviously, Crash Davis from Bull Durham should be there. Him as Ray, the Iowa farmer, didn't really do much. For me, I think Tim Robbins actually in that movie was really great. That's also, what was the one that Bernie Mac, Mr. 3000? Yeah, I just because I just wanted to get Bernie Mac on the list too, just because I love him so much and miss him. So yeah, that'd probably be it. That'd probably be mine.
I also there's love
plenty
Tanaka.
out there though.
Tanaka's great.
Yeah, Tanaka
in Major League too. Yeah, Serrano with those their back and forth was great in the second movie. And then I also Euchre is I love Euchre. Euchre's the best. And The other one was I just had Thomas Jane from 61 as Mickey Mantle.
Oh, I'm a big Thomas Jane fan.
And he's obviously
TJ
not
fan,
the
so
one
I
that's
like
really
that.
you're focused on. But just to see the struggles
No,
that Mickey Mantle,
because Barry Pepper is
right,
and Barry Pepper did a very nice job, by the way, as Maris.
yes, he did. I don't want to say it's very difficult to play Maris, because Maris was very just kind of stoic and going through the motions kind of deal. Like, he was just there. Like, it's not like he was this big charisma or big, character. He just kind of was who he was, and that was just kind of a guy who was like, put his head down and go.
Yeah.
But Mantle, just to see the struggles and the stuff that he was going through at the same time, trying to do this and put it to Maris and trying to really go and have that competition.
Thomas Jane was the guy I wanted to play Duke in the G.I. Joe movies, because I was like, that looks like fucking Duke. That's the guy that I remember from the cartoon.
If we ever have to recast a movie and have it be G.I. Joe.
Yes, he should be Duke, not Channing Tatum.
Not Channing Tatum?
No. Channing Tatum did not belong anywhere near a G.I. Joe movie.
Magic Duke Mike.
No, The Rock as Roadblock was really good casting.
Yes.
That was good. That was good casting. I don't even know who the guy is that played Flint. I mean, whatever. He was like a fucking underwear model, but I didn't really know who the hell he was.
They didn't really look to have the greatest actors.
No, I mean, Ray Park as Snake Eyes was great, but Snake Eyes was just basically the outfit. Although, the guy who played Storm Shadow, though, that
also
was
great.
cast.
Yeah,
that was good. I can't remember his name. He was good.
Those are the two best characters in the movie.
Yeah. Well, yes. So don't get me started on that. How they've ruined my childhood, especially with that first movie. The second one was a little better, but Jesus Christ.
Sienna Miller, she was good. So anyway, let's get into
WrestleMania.
We have to touch on it because the Bri Man's pleased with the show overall, but not the way that it ended. So
all right, look. So
let's get into
WrestleMania 37.
Let me tell you something, brother.
He was one of the co-hosts. He and Titus O'Neil. Hogan got booed terribly. Yeah, let me tell you something. Well, yeah, let me tell you something. Look, and listen. You know that I am guilty of still loving Hulk Hogan. I'm guilty of still loving the character. Let's put it that way. The man, the man is what he is. Which is
Scott Satolino's like he's on fire right now. He's ready for your.
Not something I'm proud of. We'll start with the host thing. Let me first just give a little advice to Vince McMahon.
Yeah.
And this is coming from the biggest Hulk Hogan fan ever. And I don't say that hyperbolically. I think you probably know I'm in that conversation of greatest.
Can you slide over to your right a little? Yeah, right there. Oh, there he is. Yeah.
Well, he's there, but he's there a couple of times.
Yeah.
It's time to close the door on Hulk Hogan. It's time to not put him on TV anymore. The fans just don't like him. He's going to get booed no matter. If he can't get cheered in Tampa, which is his own backyard, the man lives in Clearwater, it's not going to happen. The guy was getting booed. Now, from what I understood, the first night, he got some decent cheers, and there were a lot of people on Twitter who were actually saying, no, he got cheered pretty well. But then the second night, they went after him pretty hard. Dude, Vince, you got to cut and run here with Hogan. You just have to. It's over. It's not going to happen. The fans are not going to take a liking to him. And you know what? They have every right to. The guy made a racist comment, a pretty bad one a few years ago. And you know what? People don't forget. And I just don't think it's a good idea to have him on television anymore. I really don't. You want to keep him in the Hall of Fame? Keep him in the Hall of Fame. That's fine. He's such a huge part of wrestling history. I will always have a love in my heart for the character. But it's hard to separate the man from the character. Okay. So I just think going forward, if you're Vince, you got to pull him. You got to pull him off. It's just pull him off of TV. So this was nice. It was really great. It was as WrestleMania, as they touted, 1 year, 1 month, 1 day from the last time that they actually were in front of live fans. And this was the first time. Each night, I think they had somewhere between 20 and 25,000 fans. Those fans were relatively vocal for those nights. There were some weather issues, especially the first night. There was an actual delay on the first night. Listen, overall, WrestleMania was good. Okay. I'm not going to sit here and tell you it was a bad event. All right. There were some real plus, great matches. In the first night.
Can you give a couple of the best matches?
Yeah. Top match in the first night, obvious for me, was the main event between Sasha Banks and Bianca Belair, who just let it. They left it all out there. Just a great emotional back and forth between the two of them. The crowd was so into it. That match, I actually got the outcome I wanted, which was for Bianca Belair to win. She beat the Boss on the big stage, and the match was so good. Fans were really into it. And the emotion that those two had before that match, where they were just like, Bianca Belair was smiling and crying, and Sasha Banks was acknowledging that, looking into the crowd, also trying to fight back tears, because it was a big night. It was a big historical night for them. Two black women in the main event sharing a stage of a WrestleMania. I mean, it just, the history of that, and just showing you how far things have come in professional wrestling really said a lot. It really said a lot. And those two did not disappoint in that main event. The match that I was actually kind of most looking forward to on night one was Cesaro and Seth Rollins, for a couple of reasons. One, those are two of the best professional wrestlers on the planet, as far as conditioning, stamina, skill set, and they put on a phenomenal match. And Cesaro needed to get the win, and he got it. He got the rub. Rollins put him over, did the right thing. That's absolutely what they had to do. I could not have been more happy with the outcome of that match, which was Cesaro getting the win. And now it is time for Cesaro to take that next step. No intercontinental titles, no United States championships, no tag team titles. It's time to put him in the world title picture. He is that kind of guy. His skills on the mic are very, very good. And he is pound for pound, maybe the best wrestler around. He's in the conversation. It's time for him to get elevated. No question about it. The surprising fun popcorn match of the night was Shane McMahon against Braun Strowman in the steel cage. That shit was just fun. I mean, Shane McMahon, I'll tell you what, you say whatever you want about that guy, but that guy is willing to just do some stupid shit. He will put himself through an inordinate amount of pain in the name of entertainment. He just will. He's just willing to do it. I got to give it to him, man. I mean, that guy is not just like this pussy ass son of a billionaire. That dude is a hardcore motherfucker. And he is willing to put himself through pain to entertain people. And I'm talking like some serious pain. He got thrown off the top of a cage. Like, not like Undertaker throwing Mankind off the top of a cell into a table, but Braun Strowman threw him off the top of the cage into the middle of the ring. And I'm telling you, man, Shane McMahon, he will sell out for it. That dude he's cut from a different cloth. I'll say that for him. I really will. As far as night two, okay. So night two started off tremendously. All right. The Fiend comes out with this sick ass fucking entrance. Just awesome. Alexa Bliss comes out with her weird ass glowing eyes, and she there's this giant Jack in the Box next to the ring, and she starts cranking the Jack in the Box, and all of a sudden, very slowly, the Fiend revitalized emerges from the Jack in the Box, and it was a really great moment. But then the match sucks. First of all, the Fiend should have won the match, not Randy Orton. Okay, Randy Orton. They need to put, if you're trying to, the Fiend is supposed to be this supernatural kick-ass character, and he loses an awful lot. He loses way more than he should. Okay. And And it just, the end of the match made no sense, because then all of a sudden Alexa Bliss is on the top of the Jack in the Box and distracts the Fiend, and she's got this black oil, like pouring out of her face. And like the Fiend is distracted by her, and then Randy Orton hits him with the RKO and he gets the pin. And then, the lights go out and then everything just disappears. And it's like, okay, what happened? And the fans were booing because they were like, fuck you, Vince. What the hell are you doing here? Like this was an easy ending to this story. The Fiend gets burned alive by Randy Orton. The Fiend comes back. The Fiend beats Randy Orton. We move on. No, instead, now there's just a bigger mystery, like what's going on with the Fiend and Alexa Bliss. So really, really weird. Just a really weird thing. The Raw, let's see. There was the Women's Tag Team Championship, which was Natalya and Tamina versus Nia and Shayna Baszler. Mm-hmm. I really thought that Natty and Tamina should have won here, because there's a lot going on in the women's tag team division. And I feel like in one weekend, between the match on night one, which was to determine which of like 4 or 5 teams, there was like a gauntlet match between 5 of the women's teams to determine who would get to face the champions on night 2. Mm-hmm. And I feel like within just a weekend, you basically like wiped out the entire women's division. Like, okay, those 5 teams beat themselves up. You had one winner emerge, and then they went on only to lose to the defending champions. And so it's now like, okay, you've wiped out like the entire division. Like who's taking on the women's champions at some point? I don't know. It just seemed like an end without like it wasn't like the start of something new. It just felt like this ending. Like, where do we even go from here with the women's division? I mean, there's a ton of talent. So I suppose like these teams can keep coming after the champs, but the champs have essentially wiped everybody out. So it's like, who else is there to fight? They got to start combining, making new women's team. I don't know. Anyways, Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. Anytime those two get in the ring, it's always a good show. Logan Paul was also inserted into this, and like I said earlier at the beginning of the show, he ate a stunner from Kevin Owens, which was great. That needed to happen because nobody likes Logan Paul. WWE loves to bring in guys that people just don't give a shit about. Oh, by the way, I would be very remiss if I did not go back to night 1 and mention how awesome. So there was a tag team match between The Miz and John Morrison and Damian Priest and Bad Bunny. And I did not know who the fuck Bad Bunny was, by the way, until
he's a music artist.
Yeah. I didn't know who he was until he was inserted into like this wrestling stuff. Sorry, it's just not my flavor. But
I'll start calling you Bad Brian.
Let me tell you though, that dude, of all of the celebrities I have ever seen come from the outside and get into a wrestling ring, mm-hmm. that guy acquitted himself the best. You could tell this guy worked hard. He practiced hard for this. And he looked like he belonged in a ring. And, not surprisingly, he and Damian Priest, anytime they bring a celebrity and the celebrity is wrestling, that guy or woman is almost always going to win. Okay. That's just good. That's just good practice. That's best practice. You got to put the celebrities over. They're your guests. You have to entertain them. You don't beat them. You don't beat up on them. Mm-hmm. You have those guys win. Okay. So, but I will tell you, man, that guy can work in the ring.
Bad Bunny.
I mean, he can work. I mean, dude, if I was going to say, if the music thing doesn't work out for him, which it obviously is going to, because it has, and I think he's like a Grammy winning artist. Mm-hmm. So he doesn't have to worry about that. But man, if he ever just decided I want a career change, I believe that WWE would accept him with open arms. Like, that's how good he was.
All right. That's good.
All right. So back to
Scott asked, he actually asked, can you ask Brian what he thought of Bayley over the 2 days?
Ding dong. Hello. I love Bayley. She was horribly misused throughout both of these days. First of all, she should have had.
I don't even know who Bayley is.
She's female. She's a female wrestler. She's
okay.
She's like one of the 4 horsewomen. She's awesome. She's as talented a WWE superstar as there is on the mic, in the ring. She's got it all. And she's kind of doing this own, like when I said ding dong hello, that's her kind of call now.
Gotcha.
But they should have done a segment with her. She should have hosted one of her ding dong hello shows in the ring with like a guest, whether it was Hogan and Titus or another wrestler or whatever. There should have been some kind of, she was horribly misused throughout the weekend, horribly. And then she ended up being a piñata for the Bella twins at the end, beating up on her, like, towards the end of night 2. It was ridiculous. So to answer the question, Scott, she was not managed properly over those 2 days. They needed to do it better. Frankly, she should have actually just been the host of WrestleMania. That would have been the better use of her. Not Titus and Hogan, just Bayley. Like that would have been, she should have been the host for WrestleMania. If you're not going to use her in the ring, she should have been the host. So she was terribly misused. I mean, at least she was a presence in the show, but that was basically just like, okay, we got Bayley involved. We checked the box. Great. Otherwise, terrible misuse. So real quick, going back to night 2, Big E and Apollo, a Nigerian drum fight match. Apollo walks away, gets some intervention from Dabakato there, and gets the win and is the new Intercontinental Champion. That, by the way, that was necessary because Big E is on to bigger things. He needs to now set his sights on a world championship. It's time for him to go to the next level.
Surge said Bri Man, a.k.a. Bri Bunny.
Bri Bunny. I'm okay with it. The United States Championship match, that was a fun romp between Sheamus and Matt Riddle, just Riddle now. Sheamus hit this ridiculous brogue kick while Riddle was trying to like reverse jump off the ropes, and like Sheamus caught him right in the mush as Riddle was upside down in the air, and it was a great finish. And Sheamus became the U.S. champion, which was good. I kind of wanted that. And then you had the Raw Women's Championship match, Rhea Ripley versus Asuka. This starts a trend of championship matches that I was not happy with the outcome of. First of all, I did not want Asuka to lose, not to Rhea Ripley, not on Rhea Ripley's like basically first match, after coming up, here from NXT. It's just too much too soon. It was obvious that these two women didn't have any chemistry in the ring because they hadn't fought each other prior to this. This is where you're really missing house shows being a thing, because had there been house shows, these two could have worked together in multiple forms to get themselves ready for a match like this. I really feel like this match was forced on us without any build, and you just threw the belt right on Rhea Ripley, and you took it off of Asuka, who has been carrying the fucking load for the women's division for the past year throughout this pandemic. Becky Lynch goes away. She has a kid. Asuka takes over as champion. Asuka has been nothing but carry the load for this past year, and you reward her by making her put Rhea Ripley over on night 2. That's some fucking bullshit, man. That is some straight horse shit. Sorry, Asuka needed to retain here. It's too much too soon for. I'm not telling you that Rhea Ripley's not a big star in the making. Yes, she is. I'm not a huge fan of hers. I don't particularly love the character, but whatever. She's fine, and I get, objectively speaking, that there's a place for Rhea Ripley and that she's probably going to end up being a really big star. There's going to be a lot of big matches between her and Charlotte and Asuka, and probably a number of other women, Nia Jax, I'm sure Becky Lynch. Rhea's going to have a lot of rivalries over the years, and she's going to be a big star. She's still a kid. She's like 24 years old. But this should have been Asuka's night to shine. This should have been Asuka's night to say, this should have been Vince's way of repaying her by putting her over on the grandest stage of them all and saying, you get a night to bask in victory, to hold the belt high. Thank you so much for carrying us through this pandemic the last year and doing it so well. Instead, no, Vince just drops trowel, takes a big shit all over Asuka, and gives the fucking belt to Rhea Ripley. And that brings us to the main event. to the main event of main events, night 2, the triple threat match for the Universal Championship between Daniel Bryan, Edge, and the head of the table, the tribal chief. Acknowledge me, Roman Reigns. And let me tell you, I have said, the glasses are actually coming off.
Whoa.
I have said for months, literally months, since Edge won the Royal Rumble, if the intent of Edge's comeback was not to win the championship, then what the fuck are we doing here? So this all starts. This didn't start 1 year ago. This started really, well, I guess it was over a year ago. The 2020 Royal Rumble. Mm-hmm. Edge shocks the world, comes back, is in the Royal Rumble, makes the final 4 of the Royal Rumble. Great feel-good moment. Fast forward to this year. Edge comes out number 1 of 30 in the Royal Rumble. Hangs on to defeat 29 other guys. Wins the Royal Rumble. Looks at the sign. Fireworks go off in the Thunderdome. And you're thinking to yourself, Edge is going to have his WrestleMania moment. We're going to complete this comeback story. Mm-hmm. Okay? Now, if you didn't want Edge to beat Roman Reigns, okay, fine. Have him take on Bobby Lashley. Oh, by the way, I totally skipped over that match. Lashley retained against Drew McIntyre. He beat Drew McIntyre, which I also, by the way, was the right call. I think that was the right call. I was actually happy that Lashley retained. I like Bobby Lashley as champion. I want him to get a nice little run. And he beat Drew McIntyre. And it was a really good match too. And it was a good finish. But getting back to Edge, what was the point of having Edge show up a year ago at the Royal Rumble, finish in the Final 4, a year later win the Royal Rumble, if not to complete the comeback story? Because the only way to complete that comeback story in professional wrestling is to put the belt on the guy. Do you want a case in point? Because I'll give you one. Edge is 47 years old, okay? This same thing happened almost 20 years ago. They bring Hulk Hogan back as part of the NWO. Hogan is in his late 40s at that point, okay? Hulk Hogan comes back. He loses to The Rock at WrestleMania 18. Except in doing so, he gets the fans back because the fans are immensely behind Hogan. Mm-hmm. Almost nobody in Toronto Skydome wanted The Rock to win that match. They wanted Hogan to win it. Vince recognized, we have a comeback story here. How do I complete this comeback story with Hulk Hogan? Oh, I know. I put the belt on him. Now, what they did there, okay, so this is back in like 2002 or 3, all right? Hogan loses to The Rock at WrestleMania 18. But Vince McMahon himself, 1 month later, now at that same event, by the way, WrestleMania 18, Triple H wins the championship. Okay, so he had just won the championship. The very following pay-per-view after that is Backlash. Mm-hmm. Okay, so you just had put the championship on Triple H, preparing him for a long run. Vince pivots because he's like, oh shit, I saw the reaction that Hogan got. The only way to complete that comeback story is to put the strap on Hogan. He didn't have to do it for long. He just needed to have the moment. He needed to have the moment of Hogan winning that belt back. Okay, now fast forward back to present day. You've set Edge up for this comeback story. Okay, mm-hmm. The only logical conclusion is for him to walk out of WrestleMania with the belt. Now, if you didn't want him to beat Roman Reigns because you don't want to take the shine off Roman Reigns, then put Roman Reigns in a match with like just Daniel Bryan and have Edge beat like either Bobby Lashley or Drew McIntyre. If you didn't want Edge to beat Roman Reigns, fine. Then put Edge in a different championship match. You had another option there. But the only acceptable outcome for the end of night 2, if Edge is going to be in that main event, is for him to walk out of that arena with the belt. Believe me when I tell you, I was not the only person who felt that way. All you had to do was listen to that crowd. All you had to do was hear that reaction when Metalingus started playing and Edge came out of that fucking curtain, and that place went bonkers. Vince had to be saying to himself, oh, fuck. I screwed this one up already. Now, Vince is probably used to that because Vince has been doing nothing but fucking up for the last God knows how many years. But, you know, Vince claims that he knows the WWE audience knows what we want better than we do. That was literally the thing he said almost 20 years ago when he said the main event for Backlash, Triple H will take on Hulk Hogan. And before he said that, he said, I know what the WWE universe wants better than they do. Therefore, in the main event, Triple H will take on Hulk Hogan. Okay, well, you knew what WWE audience wanted this time. They wanted Edge. They wanted Edge to win. And you didn't have to be in front of a live audience to know that this was going to be how it turned out. When Edge walked through, an Alter Bridge hit, and that music went on, and he walked out, if you didn't think he was going to get a huge pop and that the audience was not going to be firmly behind him, then Vince, what the hell have you been doing for the last 40 years? You're supposed to know. You needed to give this audience what they wanted last night. And that was that show needed to fade to black with Edge holding up that championship. And if you wanted, I don't care if fucking you wanted to have him lose it the next night. He could lose it tonight. He could have lost the belt tonight to Roman Reigns. It wouldn't have mattered. All that mattered was you needed to give Edge that moment. You crushed, destroyed, melted, and obliterated what would have been a great comeback story. Now, it's over. There's nothing you could do. If you putting the belt on Edge at any other time now will make zero sense. You had to do it last night. There's no makeups here. You can't do it at the next pay-per-view. You can't do it on a random SmackDown. No, the moment has passed. You lost the moment. You wanted to give it to Roman Reigns so that you could make him look strong. And that's why I said at the opening of the show that this match was the law-abiding citizen of matches. And if you've never seen the movie Law Abiding Citizen, here's I'll give you the Cliff Notes version of it. Law Abiding Citizen is the greatest movie ever made up until the fucking crappy ass end. Because if you were really, I don't know, I don't remember who the director was for Law Abiding Citizen, but he's a giant pussy. Because there was only one way that Law Abiding Citizen should have ended. And it should have ended with Gerard Butler killing fucking everybody, including Jamie Foxx's character. That's the only way that movie needed to end. Gerard Butler needed to kill everybody. He needed to kill Jamie Foxx. He needed to kill Cole Meany. He needed to fucking kill everybody and get away with it. That was the only acceptable outcome for that movie. And if you think that there was another acceptable outcome for that movie, then, well, shut the fuck up and don't watch any more movies. Because you're a fucking idiot. Because there was only one acceptable outcome for the movie. There was only one acceptable outcome for WrestleMania 37. And it was for 47-year-old Edge with his ripped, shredded abs to walk out of fucking WrestleMania with the Universal Championship. Instead, you fucking force-fed Roman Reigns and stuffed him down our fucking throats with this tribal chief, head of the table, and that little fucking flea cousin of his, Jey Uso, who I fucking can't stand. Oh my God. Somebody please knock him the fuck out. And listen, they're doing a good job of building Roman Reigns' character. I will say that. Roman Reigns is as dominant as he could possibly be. I will give him that. All right? They've done a wonderful job of building Roman Reigns. But I will say, I'm actually being played out. my acceptance speech went on way too long. But the bottom line is, there was only one acceptable outcome for WrestleMania 37 last night, and you didn't get it. You didn't get it. And if you woke up this morning like me and you're feeling a little bit unsatisfied by WrestleMania, you should. Overall, I'm going to give WrestleMania a B. It was a very good event. It really was. It was a good event. But it would have had an A if... And here's the thing. At the end of that match, I really felt like we were going to get the right finish because Edge had set up Daniel Bryan and Roman Reigns with double concertos there. He had them both set up. And then all of a sudden, the flea Uso comes in and ruins everything. Mm-hmm. And if they had just finished that match with Edge hitting the concerto on Daniel Bryan and hitting the concerto on Reigns, and even if you didn't want to take the shine off Roman Reigns, then just fucking have him cover Daniel Bryan for the win. It didn't have to be Reigns. But that match to end that way, I just don't understand how you have to complete the Edge comeback story with a title. That's it. That's all there is to it. And listen, I'm gonna give Vince the. I'm gonna go with the old Otter line here. You know what? You fucked up. You trusted us. And I didn't. I didn't trust Vince. I didn't trust Vince not to fuck this up. So I shouldn't really say
Vince
that.
McMahon equals Felix Gary Gray, who is the director of Law Abiding Citizen.
That's him. And I don't even know who the fuck Felix Gary Gray is.
Well, he's the director of that movie.
He's the guy who fucked up what would have been one of the greatest movies ever, Law Abiding Citizen. Mm-hmm. God damn, man. God damn it. Like, Vince really had a chance to deliver an astonishingly great WrestleMania. And instead, you got an 87. Give you an 86, 87 of a grade. It was good. It was a good event. It's great to see fans back again. And listen, this is not an indictment on Roman Reigns. I don't hate Roman Reigns. I love Roman Reigns, actually. His character is great. What they've done with him over the last year, especially turning him heel, phenomenal. But you did it at the expense of completing a tailor-made comeback story. You just completely screwed it up. And now there's no way to fix it. So, in classic Stone Cold style, I'm just going to say this to Vince. Fuck you. Fuck you, man.
Sergio says, loving the emotions, Bri Bunny. Tell us how you really feel.
And then you got full. I went full Bri Man there.
And Scott said, LMFAO, this is great.
Hey, I'm here to please the two fans I have.
We also have
man.
I'm gonna just give you a little Felix Gary Gray here. He directed one of the movies that's actually on our Wheel of Destiny, which we will have to spend in a second, and that is Friday.
Okay. I mean, at least he didn't fuck that up.
He also did the Waterfalls, TLC Waterfalls video short.
Did he really?
Yes. Okay. He did a lot of things with R. Kelly. Not great. If I could turn back the hands of time video short, he did TP2.com, the videos. If I could turn back time.
So his claim to fame is going to be Friday. Because it's not Law Abiding Citizen, because he fucked that movie.
Yeah, no. He did Straight Outta Compton.
Oh, did he?
Mm-hmm.
It's a good movie.
It is a good movie. He directed Men in Black International.
Oh, that's not a good movie. So, we're back.
He directed The Fate of the Furious.
I don't know if I'm in the minority or the majority on my feelings on Law Abiding Citizen. Frankly, I don't care.
He directed The Italian Job.
Which one?
The Italian Job.
Oh, The Italian Job? Wow, he's got a little resume.
He's got a decent. Definitely just did not. Bri Man does not like The Law Abiding Citizen for sure.
No, I love the movie. I hate the ending.
So you don't like the movie?
I don't know where I stand. I don't know where I stand with the movie. I just hate the fucking ending. But the movie itself, leading all the way up till the ending, like, is great. It's like a perfect movie.
Except it's not.
Except it's not because of the ending.
All right, so that's pretty much it for our show. But we are going to spin.
You know what it'd be like if you had a. It'd be like if you went to Dairy Queen and you got yourself a peanut butter bash, and you're just like, man, you're going all the way through it. It's just the best fucking ice cream I've ever had. And then at the very bottom of the cup, there's just a big fucking like thing of cat shit at the bottom. Just like a big lump of cat shit. Like, what the fuck is this? Did a cat, like they took a lump of cat shit out of the litter box, put it at the bottom of the cup, but on top of it, there's just all this glorious ice cream and peanut butter and nuts and shit like that.
Gotta watch out for that cat shit at the bottom of your.
Yeah. You really do. Watch out for the cat shit. And I would know. I've got 3 cats.
Gotta watch out for the cat shit when you're watching those movies, when you're watching WWE.
And now, oh god, now tonight or Friday night, I gotta fucking watch Roman Reigns come out and drop some ridiculously long promo about acknowledge me. I'm the head of the table. Listen to this fucking tribal chief head of the table shit for the next God knows how long.
All right.
Please Big E beat him. Please have Big E dethrone Roman Reigns at some point in the near future. Please.
I'm going to spin the wheel of destiny. The what? The wheel of destiny.
I got a lot of water in
Yeah,
my
you
mouth.
do. Here we go. Wheel of destiny. Oh, it's a little dark over here today. And the Wheel of Destiny says, how is this actually? Ah.
Oh, those are fun.
Yeah.
I like those because that's when we get to rip on movies that we think suck. I really like the Wheel of Destiny graphic that you do, and then you're actually spinning the wheel.
Yeah. Got to spin the wheel.
It's pretty great.
Had to get a wheel. Yeah.
How is this actually? Okay.
Yeah.
So should we explain for those?
Oh, yeah. How is this
actually?
actually? It's a Rotten Tomatoes game. For those that don't know about it, how is this actually? How is this actually rated this high, essentially, on Rotten Tomatoes by the critics? We also get into the audience a little bit, but it's mainly about the critics. And
we try to focus on the critics.
Poor attention to awesome movies.
Yes.
Or, in this case, crappy movies.
Yeah. Yep.
Right.
Yep.
Well, thank you guys for watching. That's the end of our show. We will. You can find us on Twitter at Shane and the Bri Man. Or no, sorry. Twitter is at Shane and Bri Man. Facebook.com/Shane and the Bri Man. And you can find me on Twitter at Einhornersfinkel and Instagram at Happy McAvoy.
You can find me on Twitter at _Bri_man. I'm not going to give you my Instagram account because probably don't like you enough for you to be on there. I'm just very angry today, as you can tell. But anyways, to quote the great Tony Stark, part of the journey is the end. We've come to the end of the show, and so stay classy, Planet Globe, and all that. And yeah, fuck you, Vince.
And get vaccinated.
Oh, by the way, so real quick as we go out, should I tell everyone how I ran the gamut of vaccination side effects? Oy vey, did I get my ass whooped by the Johnson & Johnson vaccine, baby.
I was hurting for a day, about a good 24 to 30 hours after.
Yeah, I don't know how quickly it kicked in for you. It took me 7 hours before the first side effect kicked in.
I started feeling a little run down about 8 hours, but then it started hitting me at 12.
Okay. So for me, it was, I got the shot at 1:35. I went to Foxwoods Casino to get it, which, by the way, they had a really good setup.
Did you put anything on black or red?
What's
that?
On
the way out? Hit anything on red on the way out? Anything on black? Put like $100 down?
Luckily, I'm not a gambler. I do have an addictive personality, but thankfully gambling is not one of the things that I'm addicted to.
Because you don't do it.
Yeah.
If you started doing it, maybe.
I know. Well, slots is the only thing I play. Plus, I don't know how to play cards, which is to my benefit.
You play with what?
I only do slots. Slots. There's an O.
Did you watch Saturday Night Live at all?
No, I haven't watched it yet. I'll watch it though. I will. I'll get caught up to it this week. Anyways,
I like that.
Hold on.
There's a play on words in what's in this picture with Keenan.
Oh, okay.
Oh my God, dude, you have to watch it.
I'll watch it this week.
Yeah,
I mean, I watch all of them.
He said
I usually watch all of them.
He clock and cock.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Good stuff.
So I got the shot at 1:35. About 8:30, I'm laying in bed. The chills start, and dude, these chills were so intense that I could feel my back and neck muscles like pulsating. And I had to have my daughter come in the room. I FaceTimed her because I couldn't get up. I FaceTimed her. I'm like, can you come in here? I said, I need a lot of blankets. Right. So my wife she's putting
Laughing at you.
Putting Lex down. No, she's putting Lex down. So she's in the baby's room and with him. And so I'm just like, Belle, can you come in here, please get some blankets? She stacked like 8 blankets on top of me. I had somewhere between 9 to 12 blankets on me. I swear to God. And I'm just like shaking. Now that part actually really only lasted for about 3 hours. Then came the headaches. Oh man, dude. My
headache was just mild. It was like a mild to medium headache for a good 12 hours.
My head was throbbing and pounding. I was up most of the night.
Did you take pain meds?
I was like,
take ibuprofen?
I did. I took ibuprofen, which did help. It did help. But
I didn't take any meds until 36 hours.
But as soon as the ibuprofen wore off, like, whoa, it just came like right back. But I was like literally moaning in pain throughout the night. Like I was just like, I'm a bitch when I'm sick. I am a little bitch, dude. Like I need to be weighted on hand and foot. I'm not tough. Not tough like that.
The Bri Man.
I can't. It was like that. Dude, I was a mess. Then then the diarrhea came. That was next. Yep. Dude, it was whoo. But I'll tell you what, there's no soreness. The arm is no longer sore.
Yeah.
All the side effects have passed. And now I'm waiting until another 6-7 days, I guess, before I should feel like, yeah, okay, it's in my system. And
14 days is like
14 days. So yeah, another couple weeks basically then stuff.
About a week, yeah. A little over a week for me.
Yeah. So I mean, but listen, like you've told me before though, I guess I was happy to have the side effects, right? It kind of shows that my immune system is a beast. Yes. It's doing its work, and so I should probably be happy about that. I knew I was going to be in for it though, just because when I got the flu shot in January, I was kind of knocked out for a day, and I'm like, well, if the flu shot does that to me, what the fuck's this thing going to do to me? But hey, man, I'm glad I got it. I'm glad I did my part. I got vaccinated.
Go out, get vaccinated.
I hope everyone else does. It was pretty easy. My wife's getting hers this week.
Excellent.
Her first dose. So
she's going with Pfizer or Moderna?
Pfizer.
Yes,
her oncologist recommended Pfizer. So yeah, because Pfizer is the best, testing the best against the variants. So
me and the Bri Man both got the Johnson & Johnson. Johnson.
We both went JJ. Yeah, we wanted the one and done.
Yeah,
we're one pump chumps.
It's 11% less effective. It's 84%, but that's very good considering the flu shot is like usually 60%.
Now, I read a story this week, and I don't know how true it is because at this point,
and I think Pfizer is the only one that there's data out there right now saying that you're not going to redistribute it. Like you can't give it. There's good data on the Pfizer vaccine as of right now that if you get it, but you have it in you, you're not going to give it to other people.
Yeah.
That's the only one that has data regarding that yet.
Yeah.
So, you're still going to have to wear a mask, and I have no problem wearing a mask out in public.
Me neither. Me neither.
I am starting to not wear a mask when I play golf again because the sun's out, and I was starting to get a nice mask line. Yeah. So I had to kind of start pulling that mask down. After I hit off the first tee, I take the mask down.
Yeah. Like I said,
congratulations, Ron. Ron, he got his. Yeah.
Yep. Good. Excellent.
He got he's getting his second soon. He's not looking forward to the second.
Did you see the story?
But I will say, you and I both said, this is something I've been saying. I was dealing with a lot of joint pain. That's something that I have to deal with anyway. I was dealing with lots of hip and knee, and that was my biggest problem. I am so thankful I got this shot and I have not got COVID, because if I had to deal with that for like 2 to 3 weeks, in addition to like a cough and not being able to taste anything and just everything in general that comes along with it, holy crap, I am so thankful.
Oh, I've already said if I get COVID, I will die. I won't make it. I'm the guy that dies in the horror movie. There's just no way. There's no way. Did you see the story? Sounding like a 70s porn movie, Bri Bunny. Yeah, great. Did you see the story in the New York Post, though? I guess there was a guy, again, now, let's just immediately take that with a grain of salt, because I just said New York Post, which is a total rag. But I guess there was a story about a guy who got Johnson & Johnson, had it, and, it was in his system for a while, over 4 weeks. And then he got COVID and hospitalized with COVID.
Yeah, that's a very rare case. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if it's true, again, because I take a lot of things that I see from the New York Post with a grain of salt, but it's given the anti-vaxxers something to jump on. But what I will tell you, assuming it is true, what I will tell you to your point earlier is I've still not been in a store in over a year. It's been since early March of 2020 that I was in a store, and that the last store that I was ever in was a Walmart. I will tell you that if and when I do venture back into a store, it will still be double masked. I wear a surgical mask underneath, and then I usually wear like a Yankees or a Dolphins or something, a wrestling mask over that. And I will continue to do that. I have a Hollywood black Hogan mask. I'm not sure if I should be wearing that anymore, but anyways, but yeah, I mean, like, I will continue to double mask going into stores. It's not that I don't trust the vaccine, but it's not infallible. So,
well, it's not even that. It's like, it's more of you spreading. It's just doing your part.
Well, yeah, I'm just right. I just want to do the right thing.
Protect your fellow humans. And that's the thing I don't understand with the people that don't wear masks. It's like, you don't care about us, is what you're saying.
I just want to Spike Lee it and do the right thing. That's all.
That's right. I like it. Yes, we got it.
And I want to fight the powers that be.
And I am very excited to be able to start getting back to normality.
Yeah.
Like, the new normal.
Can we play golf soon? This
Yes.
time I'll bring a cart. Actually, no, fuck that. I'm going to drive a cart this time.
Yes, we can play golf. Absolutely, 100.
I'm driving a fucking cart.
I have an extra cart for you.
And hauling that. No. I want to ride in a cart and tip it over or something. I want to get.
I will watch you do that.
Yeah.
From a walking distance.
You and me and Cam. So your 11, 12-year-old son could whoop my ass again.
Yeah, I'm ready. I'm ready. I'm playing in my first tournament tomorrow. So.
Are you? Where?
At Lyman. 9-hole tournament. Yeah. Well, it's like it's a league. So it's a weekly tournament league. So.
I'm just so mad.
I'm playing against a bunch of like 40 handicappers. So like in the league, we only play 9 holes. So your handicap is cut in half. So mine's at a 4 right now. So I'm only giving 4 shots on 9 holes and they're giving 20. So this will be interesting.
You're basically playing with a bunch of me's.
I think worse than you.
No, not worse than me. That's me. I'm like a 40.
Yeah. Oh yeah, probably. Yeah.
Yeah, that's how I am.
Yeah.
You saw. You were there.
Yeah, but you petered out, particularly after like hole 8. Because you were carrying a bag,
dude.
But not even like you weren't even like carrying like a real like backpack carrying bag. Right. You were carrying a shoulder bag.
Yeah, dude, my shoulder was shot. It was shot. I was in such pain that next day from that too.
I'm sure.
Oh, that was so dumb. Dumb.
And then I after the fact, I did the helpful thing. You know what? I probably should have just put Cam's clubs in my bag and given you his cart, push cart. Like 5 hours after.
Several hours later, I probably would have been like,
I just thought of this.
Yeah, it did, because you're right. Because actually, those first 8 holes, I wasn't awful.
Right.
It wasn't dreadful. I hit a couple of nice balls.
Weren't you the person that hit the tee shot and like ended up hitting the tee, the tee box?
I hit the tee. Yeah.
Never seen that before.
Yeah, like the ball. I hit the yeah.
You hit the little ball mark that.
Do you remember the looks like on all of our faces? We were just like,
did that just happen?
Did that really just
And it went flying. Like it didn't like just like
Yeah.
pop out of the ground. It like went like 10 feet.
Oh,
And,
no, I
like,
hit it hard.
yeah.
Oh, I hit it flush. 4. Yeah, that was fun.
4 for us, and we're right next to you. We all just kind of like stopped and were like, did that just happen? Like,
What'd you do?
what the hell just happened? How did you do that?
That was a first for me too. That was a first. I'd never, as bad as I am, I'd never done that.
Glorious. Glorious.
Yeah, it was something.
Whoo. Yeah.
Anyways,
Good time.
that is our show.
Yeah. Go ahead. Say your sign off.
No, I already did.
You
like
did?
20 minutes ago. Yeah.
Oh.
Well, I mean, but stay classy, Planet Globe. Like again. I did the other one already. I'm not gonna do it.
The
twice.
Tony Stark. Yeah.
Yeah, I did it. We're good.
Bye.
right. Have a great week, everybody. We'll see you on Monday.
Bri Man went from to
Yeah.
peace out, guys. We'll see you Monday. Maybe sooner. Who knows? But most likely Monday. Bye.
Bye. See ya.
Do we have an? Let me do this.
We gone.